It's kind of bizarre. My policy claim is against A&M. They boast about how they are number two in the state of being the most physic with physical accessibility with physical disabilities, but in fact they really aren't. They should be number 10. They are breaking a lot of laws of the ADA law, which is a public law, and they need to follow it because they are state funded, which is a really big no-no. They can easily get a lawsuit very fast. And today I'm going to be telling y'all some of the very big main points of the ADA law that they are breaking and some of the solutions and how you can fix it. The first problem is going to the rec center. There is a ramp that goes underneath the railroad tracks. And if y'all ever rode a bike up there, you know that it's really hard to go up the ramp. And it's a really big no-no because they the inclination of this ramp is not ADA compliant whatsoever. For elevation, it's supposed to be for every 1 inch of elevation, it's supposed to be 12 inches. It's supposed to be 12 inches in feet. This is this is supported by section 4.8.2 in the ADA law, and it's it's not fair to people in wheelchairs or people with other physical disabilities. My next point would be the ramps that go into the buildings. There are some ramps that people in wheelchairs cannot use whatsoever, and it goes for educational buildings as well. This law is section 4.8.3 in the ADA law. These these ramps, the width is supposed to be 36 inches wide. Some of these ramps are 32 to 28 inches wide in some places, which again, most people aren't able to get up those ramps. So what A&M does is they move the class, but moving the class is all good and all, but eventually they're going to have to follow the law. My next point is the doors going into some of the buildings. Some of the doors, like in Heldenfels, are very small. And we all know this. There are some doors that are like insanely small, like the width wise. Like you have to squeeze into them. You can't. There's no way of just freely walking in. They are not being compliant with section 4.13.5 in the ADA law. The minimum clear opening of is supposed to be 32 inches or 815 millimeters wide. My next point is the doorways. No, sorry. The flooring plan of elevators. Some of these elevators, and we all know this, are very small and compact, just like the one in the MSC. These elevators are not ADA compliant whatsoever. The ADA law says that the doorway is supposed to be 36 inches wide. The width of it is supposed to be 80 inches wide, and the depth of these elevators is supposed to be 54 inches from the doorway closing to the back of the elevator. If y'all ever went into the MSC elevators, you know that's not true. And this makes it so that people in wheelchairs or people with big things can't go into those elevators and can't use the rest of the building. Like I can't I can't go to Panda Express and I can't go to any of those places. They really need to fix this. And my last point would be, and I think we all want this, housing options. The elevators for housing options. There's only two housing options that A&M provides that have elevators, and that's Hullabaloo and White Creek Apartments. This means that if somebody needs an elevator to go up, you have to you have to stay in those dorms. And the thing about those is that these are one of the most expensive dorms in A&M, which is not too friendly to our pockets, which we all know that we don't have a lot of money and we're trying to save pennies. But putting elevators into those different dorms and stuff like that will let number one, it will let a lot of people be easier. It's a lot easier on other people. Like if you're on floor 4, we all know that we don't want to walk up those stairs. That's a lot of work to do. And people in wheelchairs and stuff like that, and then we can actually live in those buildings and live with our friends and stuff like that. The solutions of these are for my very first point of the ADA of the ramp to the rec center. Sorry. There are two reasonable options. The first one is reasonable, but it's not. It is to repave the whole ramp itself and completely make it level. So then it's actually following the law, because this this has been causing a lot of people in wheelchairs and manual chairs a lot of difficulty, and people with injuries a lot of difficulty. They are not able to get up these ramps at all. People are stuck there without help. If they don't have any help, they are stuck. And the second option would be to create a different pathway, to create on the side a ramp, which is a lot easier on A&M because it means that it won't destroy that whole pavement. For my second point for the ramp width, it's pretty easy. Just widen the ramps. It's not hard. Yes, it might cost y'all something, but it's a lot less expensive than a lawsuit. My third point would be the third solution would be for the doorway. There is one building, and I forgot the name off the top of my head, that is okay. It is exempt from this. There is a policy in the ADA law that if you do not update a building before 2005, you do not have to follow the 32-inch rule. There's only one building. All of the rest, y'all are breaking laws, and it's not compliant whatsoever, and it's making things very difficult for people, and it's making other students have to move their classes for no reason when A&M can easily widen those doors. For my fourth point for the elevator floor plan, just widen the elevators. It's gonna be expensive, but it's it's better than a lawsuit. All of these changes will make it so much easier for everyone, for people even without physical disabilities, like with the elevators. This makes it so much easier and so much more accessible, and it will actually give A&M the true meaning of being number 2 or even number 1 in Texas with physical disabilities and accessibility. How y'all can help this and how y'all can help my claim is I made a petition on change.org that you can support my decision and support my